and thank you for watching. This is Blue Streak here with Transformers Age of the Primes, Prima Prime. Before we get to Prima, first we're going to take a look at his packaging, which is got your standard Voyager class size packaging, and it looks really cool. I like their new boxes, they look amazing. So up here we have a very nice picture of Prima, going into battle there with the Star Saber, and then his alt mode, which looks very nice. Got his instructions back there. Big red Transformers across the front, gold banner, Age of the Primes, the 13 Prima Prime, Autobot logo, transforms in 20 steps, not 60. On this side you have a larger picture of Prima, which looks very nice. Continues that over here. On this side it says till all are one, and then you've got 3 different primes, and then down here it says Voyager class. The thing with these primes is that if you get enough of the right sized boxes, some of them will have the rest of the primes, and it'll all just be a mural of them standing there around the Well of Allsparks. So up here you have Prima, Vector Prime, and Alpha Trion. On the back side you have product shots, so you know what you're buying if you weren't sure already. And I think that's pretty much the packaging on this guy. So let's take a look at the actual guy that comes in the packaging. Alright, so here is Prima in his Cybertronian truck mode, which it looks very cool in my opinion. It makes me think a lot of like a Mars rover, Moon rover, something like that. Just kind of has that space truck look to it. I think it looks very, very cool. The white plastic might be a little bit of a frightening issue, just in the fact that it will yellow over time. But I think if you take care of it, it shouldn't be too bad. Anyway, so getting in close to see some of the details here, you can see that some very nice detailing in those windows. If I can get this to focus, please. Yeah, it's very nice dark blue coloring, and with this gunmetal gray and this sort of grayish metallic blue sort of color up here, it just pops and it looks really cool. But yeah, it's just very nice detailing going along down the side. And on the back, there's a bit of gapping, or not gapping, but just it's kind of open back here, but it's fine. Nobody displays their toys from the back side, unless maybe you do, but it's a little weird. But yeah, some very, very nice silver paint. It's very nice gunmetal paint. Overall, this just looks really cool. This blue detailing on the top. It's just a cool figure overall. He does roll pretty smoothly. Of course, this table isn't very great, but anyway. So he does come with 3 accessories, 2 of which we'll look at here, and 1 of which we'll look at in the robot mode. So first up is this sort of little blaster thing, which is actually the hilt for a Star Saber, but it does come packed in 2 pieces. The saber, I mean, this is the other accessory, which is the blade. Very nice, transparent blue. Some awesome detailing that's very reminiscent of Transformers Prime. And then yeah, very nice silver paint on there with the Prima logo, if you can see it there. Very little. It does connect like that, and then there's his Star Saber, but then we'll look at it more in robot mode. But anyway, so in truck mode, you can fit this on in a number of places. You can fit this either here in this peg hole, or however you prefer it, either here or here, or you can stick it right in here, and then if you add the blade to it, then it's like a giant spear on the front of the truck, which looks pretty cool. But then the blade you can take, and there's a little hole right in there, if you can see it. You just want to take that hole, line it up to that peg in there, just like so, kind of stick in at a little bit of an angle. Now you've got like a sword glowy tail fin, which I think looks really cool. But yeah, anyway, I think that's all for the truck mode, so it's time to transform it. So we're gonna get to transforming it right after we do a quick comparison that I forgot about until just now. And bringing out Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. So you can see how the first Prime and the last Prime scale together. And yeah, they just look very cool together. Except Optimus is quite a bit bigger and heftier because he's a Voyager, he's a Commander. So now we'll get to transformation. So what you want to do first is come here and pop the shoulder pads out. They'll just be pegged in here on that peg. And then you just want to bring that out on this hinge up here, and then they'll hinge out here. Just kind of get these off to the side and away. And let me see if I can turn on some kind of autofocus or something. This is annoying me. Oh, I don't really have an autofocus on here, so whatever. We'll just continue. So then you want to come here and just kind of crack the truck open on this hinge. So we'll just do that. And then just take this whole section, get the feet clear. So you can take this, rotate that all the way around, like that. And then just kind of straighten up his legs a little bit. So you can come here, pull the feet out, and then pop those legs apart, like so. And then you want to take these wheels, which are just pegged in right here, and just those pop out. And then this whole arm will come in. Then you want to make sure that is snapped all the way over so that you can get this white peg into that slot in there. It's kind of tricky, but if you just keep the wheel assembly pressed as far over onto this arm as you can, it works pretty well. So again, same on this side, just snap that over and bring that in to lock it into place. So those are Prima's legs done. So then we'll work on his upper body. Wow. His head is visible in alt notes. That's a little bit annoying, but you don't display your toys upside down, right? Anyway, so and then you want to take the arms and just unpeg them from there. So you just kind of peg in there on both sides, and then take this silver piece, pop that up and over. That will allow you to bring those up so that you can take this arm and rock it back, like so. And then you want to take his head, flip it up on this gray joint here. Take the wheels, fold them inside, like so. Rotate his upper body around. And then you want to take these white sections and rotate them down. And then these gray sections will just kind of fold out straight. Then you got these tabs here and here. They will go into the slots here and here. So you just want to close all this up, bringing this down if need be. So you can just get that all locked into place like that. All right, now then, we're going to take his arms, rotate them around, fold his hand out on that ball joint, and just take this piece here, rotate that all the way around on a double hinge, and we'll lock that into place. And you can position his shoulder pad how you'd like, and just repeat this on the same side. So again, just rotate that around, fold out his hand, close up his arm, position his shoulder pad, and there is the Age of the Primes Voyager class Prima in his robot mode, which it looks very cool to me, very much like a samurai, which is kind of what you'd expect from Transformers. It's sort of American, sort of Japanese-ish, so having this design is kind of what you'd expect. But I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks very cool. Cooler than an actual samurai would. Anyway, coming in close, we can take a look at his head sculpt, which looks very nice. Very, very cool. Silver for the head helmet, light blue for the eyes, and just kind of has that stern prime look to him. And then he's got some armor detailing on his chest with that silver blue again. And then the shoulder pads, some very nice detailing on those as well. And then a little bit more of that metallic blue. And then we've already seen these before on the sides of his arms and his backpack, which comes really cleanly. I think that looks very cool. The back of the legs is a bit ugly, it's a bit hollow, whatever, with these wheels sticking out. I don't think it looks all that bad. So yeah, we're going to take a look at his accessories here. So yeah. All right, so you've got that Star Saber. So we'll just plug that together real quick. Boom, Star Saber. It looks very cool. It's a little bit small. The blade could stand to be a little bit bigger and the handle a little bit longer, but I think it looks just fine. And it can plug onto his hand like that, and it looks very cool. Another thing that you can do with the Star Saber is you can store it on his shoulder, on his forearm, or as the instructions tell you to, just right back here, which looks pretty cool. His third accessory, which we're finally going to get around to, is the Matrix of Leadership. So in the lore, he was the first Prime and the first bearer of the Matrix of Leadership, which is this thing. It's a little bit different from other Matrices we've gotten. Normally those have had gold on them, but this one's just all silver with that blue. I think it looks very nice. Very, very good detailing on it. And it just looks cool. So you can take the Star Saber here and you can plug the Matrix on there, because again, in the lore, the jewel for the Matrix came out of the Star Saber's hilt. So that's kind of bringing that back around, and that just looks awesome. Another thing you can do with the matrix is you can pop it off of the Star Saber and then come in here and just pop this open, and you get a nicely detailed matrix cavity, which you can plug the matrix into and then close that back up, which it looks very cool. We're gonna keep this out here for just a second. Yeah, we'll talk about posability real quick, and then we'll get to some comparisons. So his head can look up pretty far, can't really look down a whole lot. He does get a tiny bit of side-to-side movement, 360-degree rotation. The shoulders can rotate 360 degrees. They can go out. Shoulder pads will move out of the way for you. That's kind of nice. Those are just kind of on a double hinge here. So the biceps are on swivel, so that swivels 360 degrees. Get over 90 degrees of knee bend. Elbow bend. I keep mixing that up. His wrists rotate, and they're on a ball joint, so you get a little bit of movement there. A little bit, not a whole lot. His hands do open, so that's very cool. He has a waist rotation, which you need to fold up these to move. So that will rotate just to the side. And then, you know, his legs can kick forward about that far, kick back only about that far. They can move out to the side that far, pretty good. And then get some thigh rotation on there. And then here's the knee bend, which is over 90 degrees. The toes can point down a little bit. They can, you know, point up, and then you do get some pretty decent ankle tilt. So that is Prima's articulation. Then we'll get into a robot mode comparison here. All right, and here he is, scaled next to the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. So Prime's just a little bit taller. And when I actually first got this guy, I got this guy before him. And when I first got this guy, I picked him up and I was like, whoa, that's heavy. This guy's dense, he's thick. This guy, not quite as much, but still a really cool figure. Great figure. Anyway, this is about him, not about you. Sorry. So this is Prima's Matrix, and this is the Matrix that comes with Optimus. So you can see there's a difference between the gold and the silver. Other than that, I think they're the same mold, so there's not a whole lot to talk about there. So yeah, that's it for comparisons, I guess. So there is the Age of the Primes Voyager class Prima Prime. Overall, I think it's a very neat figure, and he just looks great. I am very excited for this Age of the Primes toy line, and I hope all the other figures are going to be quite as good, or are going to be just as good. I've seen other videos about them, but I don't have them in hand yet, so I don't actually know how I'll take them, but I've got high hopes. So I guess all that's left is really that I just want to say again that Jesus loves you. I'm just gonna say in every video. I want just be aware of that. Yeah, Jesus loves you, and he wanted me to tell you. So here's that. Thank you so much for watching. I know these videos are boring, so if you didn't find it boring, you can leave a comment or a like. If you haven't subscribed, you can. Thank you to the 4 people who have subscribed, and thank you to everyone who's been watching these videos. So yeah, I will see you next time.